What is up, guys? It's your boy Rickakis, and today we are going to be showcasing all of the different weapons coming in the dawning 2024 event for Destiny 2 and going over their god rolls so you guys know what to farm for and if this event is worth grinding. And so let's get started. Now remember, guys, there's going to be one brand new weapon and 5 different weapons that are returning from years past. However, they do have brand new perks available. And since there's so many weapons, 6 in total, we're not going to be going over every single perk individually. Rather, we're just going to be shouting out their god rolls. So let's start here with the new one, and that is the Mistral Lift. Now this is going to be a void linear fusion rifle, and it's actually an adaptive 3-round burst linear. Now, as for the perks, the highlight here is absolutely bait and switch. This is generally considered one of the best DPS output perks in the game. It's what you want when you're fighting raid bosses and dungeon bosses, and you can combine it with Envious Arsenal. Just added this season, it means that when you're switching through your weapons to activate bait and switch, you're also reloading your weapon. So this is an absolute wombo combo. Any heavy weapon that can get this is a very big deal right now. And it also has the Viced Stinger origin trait, which will randomly reload your magazine as well, letting you go even longer without needing to do that like switch reload. Now there's some other good perks here too. Clown Cartridge and Envious Assassin, and especially Reconstruction are going to massively improve that magazine. Like previously Reconstruction plus bait, god tier roll, but you can maybe even go with Firing Line or Precision Instrument in the right column as well, just for a damage increase. Basically, magazine extending perk in the left plus damage increasing perk in the right. You've got a great weapon, especially because we do have Viced Stinger present as well. So this is going to be a very, very good adaptive linear. Now, moving on from there, guys, the next weapon we're looking at is the Stay Frosty. Now, this is going to be a stasis lightweight frame pulse rifle, and taking a look at the perks here, well, it can get some pretty saucy PvP rolls. So it can get the new Lone Wolf perk that a lot of people really enjoy. It can also get Moving Target for that strafe speed, and even Killing Wind or Tunnel Vision has some love as well. And you can combine that with just Kill Clip. Like Kill Clip on a lightweight frame is going to be doing some damage. Or you can go with Desperado to massively increase the rate of fire, guys. And if you're not interested in increasing the damage output, you could always go with Headseeker to make it a lot more consistent. So generally some pretty good PvP rolls here. For PvE, I mean, it can get the combo of Rhyme Stealer plus Headstone, like Headstone spawning stasis crystals, Rhyme Stealer giving you a frost armor for destroying those stasis crystals. That is a bit of a wombo combo for sure, but overall this is just kind of like a solid lightweight frame. I'm not seeing anything that's absolutely blowing my mind, but definitely some good options and kind of leaning more towards PvP god rolls as well. Now moving on from there, guys, we have the Glacioclasm. Now this is going to be a void high impact frame fusion rifle, and this thing is cracked. Like, this has always had a place within, especially the PvP meta. People who enjoy using high impact frames, this is one of the best in the game, and the rolls it can get this time around are actually bonkers. Like, I'm just gonna go right to it. It can get closing time, okay? Improves range, accuracy, and handling as the magazine gets lower. Well, if you're in PvP and you only ever, start out with a low magazine size, and even if you're getting more ammo, your magazine is always low, closing time is basically always active. So that is just incredible. You can combine that with Slide Shot to, if you can imagine, improving your range even more. Or again, Lone Wolf is another fantastic one. Or, maybe Air Trigger, maybe not so much. But any of those, heck, I should also mention Under Pressure is going to be fantastic. Like, closing time is absolutely the PvP highlight here. The fact that the Glacioclasm was already clapping cheeks when it could get stuff like, high impact reserves beforehand, and now it can get closing time, it's going to be a big deal in PvP for sure. Now, on the PvE side of things, kind of the cool thing is that it can get Reservoir Burst, which, causes enemies to explode, gives you an increase in damage as long as you have a full mag. Well, you can combine that with Subsistence, so every guy you kill reload your magazine. So every single shot will trigger Reservoir Burst, or Slide Shot will also refill your magazine, or Overflow will give you rounds over your magazine, so all of those extra overflow rounds will all be Reservoir Burst shots, or Envious Assassin works in that way as well. So any of those combined with Reservoir, super fun role for PvE. Now, for damage output, Controlled Burst is actually nuts for like a DPS role, so Controlled Burst plus either Overflow or Envious Assassin is going to be cracked as well. Those are the god rolls. I think really like the highlight is the PvP closing time god roll. Tons of people are going to be going for that. Now moving on from there, guys, we have the Albedo Wing, which is actually an arc aggressive frame glaive. Now, as for the perks, we actually have some pretty interesting roles. So first of all, it can actually get Strategist for class ability energy plus Demo for grenade ability energy. So you're getting your grenade and your class ability back at the same time for using this weapon. That's a lot of ability spam. But also, it can get, because it's arc, Volt Shot. So get a kill and then reload, and your next shot will jolt an opponent, and that is fantastic. Like, jolts, especially in PvE, are really, really good. But then you can actually get Grave Robber, which is going to reload your weapon when you get a melee final blow. So if these two perks actually work together, and they should, that means you can get a kill, with whatever, either the melee or shooting, and then reload with a melee, shoot Volt Shot. Get that jolt out there, get a melee kill that auto reloads, get another Volt shot, right? So you can just keep reloading with your melee with this glaive and constantly activate Volt Shot. That is a very, very cool combo. And we have some other good perks like close to melee here as well. But kind of going with the cool stuff, the arc stuff is, I think, the highlight of this weapon. And we also do not have too many aggressive frame glaives in the game. But moving on from there, we have the Zephyr, which is a stasis sword. Now, this is only like one of 2 stasis swords in the entire game. If I'm remembering correctly, it's this and the Slammer, and that is it. So, taking a look at the perks, it can actually get Cold Steel, which is exclusive to the very small number of stasis swords, and this is going to make it so that powered sword hits apply slow stacks, and light hits also apply a little bit less slow stacks. So this means if you're fighting, for example, a boss or a more powerful enemy, you're going to be constantly adding slow stacks, which means you're constantly going to be causing freezes and shatters on that singular enemy for a bunch of extra damage. Now, does it do as much damage as a Whirlwind Blade? Generally, probably not, but it's still going to be a big increase in damage. And because it's an elemental effect, you can use it to slow overload champions and stun them, or freeze unstopped champions and stun them. Now, should you be sorting an unstopped champion, I'll leave that up to you, but it is a possibility, and it does have big synergies within your build, getting slow stacks and freezes off. So that's very cool, and you're going to combine that with Relentless Strikes, which is going to give you ammo back. Relentless plus Whirlwind or Relentless plus Cold Steel is going to be fantastic. Interestingly, this can also get Rhyme Stealer, which will give you Frost Armor for defeating a Stasis Crystal or Frozen target. Now, this is kind of a wombo combo with Cold Steel, but it only activates when you kill a frozen target, and most of the targets you fight are going to be slowed and then just die. Like, they're not going to live long enough to be frozen. It's only like the really powerful enemies. So I don't think this is actually that good of a combo. I think still probably Relentless Strikes is going to be better, but it's something to consider. Overall, again, the cool factor of this gun, the desirability of this weapon, I should say, not gun, is that it's very limited in how many stasis swords are in the game. But moving on from there, guys, the last gun we're looking at is the Avalanche. Now, this is a solar machine gun, and there's actually not many legendary solar machine guns in the game right now that are not Sunset. So, taking a look at the perks here, well, first of all, this is an adaptive frame, 450 RPM, which is generally like one of the better frames, and it can actually get incandescent this time around, which is very, very good. And I just want to say, Heal Clip is a god tier perk, but don't fall for it. You do not want Heal Clip on your machine gun. You want to be shooting not reloading all the time to activate heal clip. So even though this is a good perk, I think it's kind of bait here. I would much rather have Incandescent for the ad clear combined with, I mean, Subsistence is great, autoloading holster is great, rewind rounds is fantastic. Any of those would be great, and it can get Dragonfly plus Incandescent if you want like every enemy you kill to like explode with the power of 1,000 suns. Like, that's gonna be pretty cool. It can also get like target lock as well as firing line for kind of a more DPS oriented role. And that's kind of up to you. Honestly, like rewind rounds plus target lock is going to absolutely slap. But should you have a DPS-oriented machine gun, well, keep in mind, guys, that with all dawning weapons, you can upgrade them so that they're getting 2 perks in each column. So if you do get, like, as long as you have, I think rewind rounds is the best perk here in the left column. If you have rewind rounds and you get a roll and you are lucky enough to get Incandescent and target lock, I mean, that's the god roll. You can literally, like, just go into your inventory and switch it from Incandescent to target lock right before the boss fight, and then you're doing way more damage to the boss when you've been slaying it with Incandescent the entire time for the rest of the strike or whatever, right? So that is definitely a cool roll. Golden Tricorn can do a ton of damage as well if you're throwing some grenades, and honestly, Collective Action is not bad either, but again, it's just like these are pretty solid rolls, and for a solar machine gun that, again, there's not many, this is pretty darn good. Guys, that is going to be it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. And if you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.